6 common first aid emergencies that all new parents and those looking after babies should know how to help. So my name's Hammett. I run First Aid for Life and onlinefirstaid.com, and I wanted to just take you through these very quickly to give you the skills to be able to help in an emergency. Okay, so let's start with choking. Choking is one of the things that so many parents come to me. They are really worried, particularly when they are weaning their baby. So first thing, ensure that you know the difference between gagging and choking. Gagging is a normal response. It is a healthy response for babies to do when they're weaning, because they're not used to new food. They're not used to solids. So they will chew it around, it will go up and down, it will come in and out, and they are like to go puce. They may make awful noises, and they could look quite distressed. However, if it's noisy, encourage it. So sit back and, you know, if it's a noisy sort of thing that they're doing, then that is good. If it is silent and they are looking in distress, that is choking. Choking is silent because the airway is blocked, so they're not able to make a sound, and they will look in distress. So once you've established that they are choking, get them out of their high chair swiftly, and support them under their chin like this. Have a quick look and see if there is anything obvious, and you would remove that with your finger and thumb. If they are old enough to be able to cough and understand when you're asking them to cough, then get them to cough. If not, you're going to lean them forward like this, supporting them under their chin. You're going to be trying to get them into a position where their airway is open, so not overextended, but just horizontal. So you're doing that by supporting under the chin. You are leaning them forward and you are hitting them hard, firmly between their shoulder blades. So support them across your lap. I can't do that now because you won't be able to see, but I'm doing it at an angle that you want to see. So hit and check, hit and check. So you're checking each time, hit and check, hit and check, hit and check. Now your second line treatment for a baby that is choking is to hold them over and do chest thrusts. So you would do 5 firm chest thrusts. You would have got the emergency services on the way if the obstruction hasn't come out on those first initial 5 back blows. Most of the time it will. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you turn them over again and you hit and check, hit and check, hit and check, hit and check. And then you go back to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you and check, okay? And you keep going. If the obstruction doesn't come out, and the child starts going floppy, then you need to start doing CPR. So CPR for a baby is putting them on a firm surface. So this is if they're unconscious and they're not breathing, and you will have checked that they're not breathing, and you put them on a firm surface. So firm surface. So not how I'm doing it now, on the floor ideally, or on a firm table, and you would give them 5 breaths. And you would breathe into them, putting your mouth over their mouth and nose. So you would seal over both. And a baby's lungs are about the size of a tea bag. So don't give it a full welly. Just give them a puff of your cheeks in and blow into them sufficiently to inflate their chest. So if I show you on this one. So you literally five breaths. And then you would be pushing down on them. So push down hard and fast. You want to push them down by 1/3 of the depth of their chest. And you can do that either with 2 thumbs or 2 fingers. So put them like that. It's quite hard to demonstrate on this. However, I've got really clear videos on my website that will show you what to do. So you're pushing down hard and fast in the centre of their chest. And you would be giving 30 compressions and then 2 breaths. So 5 breaths first, 30 compressions to 2 breaths. So that is what you would do if the baby is unconscious and not breathing. If you had a baby that was unconscious and breathing, then you would want to put them into the recovery position. And you would want to put them into a position where the contents of their stomach would drain out. They're not on their front, because then you've got the weight of their body on their lungs. So they're on their side, and their head is lower than their stomach. That's because when you are unconscious, your muscles go floppy and your tongue will flop back to the back of your throat. So if they're on their back, their tongue will flop back. The contents of their stomach will also be able to drain upwards, because the lovely sphincter muscle that keeps the contents in the stomach is veils in open when you're unconscious. So that's why you want them in a position where the contents will drain out and they will be able to breathe. And you need to be checking with the back of your hand that you can feel that they are breathing. And you can do it this way round, or you can do it this way round, it doesn't matter. And you can pop them on the floor and roll them over and support them with something just in their tummy to keep them on their side. Really important you keep checking that they're breathing. If they stop breathing, then you need to do CPR, so unconscious and not breathing. The other really important tips that I would really like you to be able to know what to do are burns. So a cup of tea that has been left out for even 10 minutes is still hot enough to burn a baby. So please never pass hot cups of tea and things over someone's head. If you're breastfeeding, don't be tempted to have your cup of tea just there and have a sip, because accidents do happen. So make sure that you are keeping them well clear of any hot spillages, or however, and when they get bigger, that you're being really careful about cords and curling brushes and hair straighteners and all that side of things too. So if they are burnt, it's really important that you run the area that is burnt under cool running water as quickly as you can, and for ideally a full 20 minutes. You're going to keep the child warm whilst you are cooling the burn. And initially, remove any clothing that you can, so long as it is not stuck to the burn. So remove clothing quickly and swiftly, but if it is stuck or there is any resistance whatsoever, so it's not loose clothing, then you'll have to leave it on cool running water. That is 1% of my body. So something about the size of a 50p piece is 1% of theirs. So if it is a burn larger than a 50p piece that you think is severe enough that it's likely to need dressing, that it's blistered, keep them under cool running water and call an ambulance, because that's a more serious burn. And all burns should be checked by a health professional. I also want you to be sure about head injuries and what to do. And there is more information on all this on our website on both firstaidforlife.org.uk and onlinefirstaid.com. So free first aid information, please have a look, please learn these skills. So babies are head heavy, so they will naturally fall on their heads if they fall over. When they start crawling and things, they're also oblivious to everything around them, so it's likely they can crawl under a table and try and stand up. They will get bumps on their heads, they will get bruises. Really important you know what to look out for. Again, loads of information on our sites and in the blogs that I will link underneath here as well. Really important that you know what to look out for and when it is serious. It's also helpful because it can save you huge numbers of unnecessary trips to hospital, because the majority of head injuries are fortunately not life-threatening. And the last thing I would really like you to know about are febrile convulsions, because they're really common, and 1 in 20 little ones may experience them. So again, there's more information on our site on this, but if your child has a raised temperature and they start having a seizure, so maybe they sort of let out a sound that sounds like they're in distress. It's not that they're in distress, it's the muscles contracting around their lungs which can force the air out, which sounds like a scream, really frightening for you. They could then end up sort of having a seizure, going rigid, being unaware of what's going on. They could stop breathing for up to a minute. Really, really frightening for you. You should time the seizure and be ready that if it goes on for longer than 5 minutes and you haven't got help on the way, that you call the paramedics back and tell them so that they know. Most febrile convulsions will resolve very quickly, and your baby will grow out of them. It does not mean that they're epileptic. It does mean that they're more likely to have seizures until they grow out of them. And those seizures are triggered by a rise in body temperature. So if they are unwell, it's important that you're sensitive to that and that you're able to preempt it, if at all possible, to bring their temperature down so that they're less likely to have a seizure. Now, this has been an absolute breakneck speed Facebook Live for you. I hope it has been useful. As I say, I've got bucket loads of resources on our site. I've got sort of substantial blogs. I've also got comprehensive online courses on onlinefirstaid.com, including a really thorough one on first aid for babies. And a book, Burns, Falls and Emergency Calls, with accident prevention and first aid tips. It's an Amazon bestseller, so please feel free to have a look. And once with the other side of lockdown, we'd be delighted to run some bespoke courses for you, so just let us know. That's Emma Hammett from First Aid for Life and onlinefirstaid.com.